Hello and welcome to our exclusive podcast where we will dive into how Accumax partners with the global laboratory brands to co-create the high-performance OEM solutions. OEM development is exciting, but it's rarely simple. There are long development timelines. Customization often stops at labels or colors. Quality can drift as the volume scales. Documentation becomes overwhelming. IP protection feels risky. Inconsistent supply chain, limited flexibility with evolving market needs, and sustainability expectation which keep on rising each year. Today we are going behind the scenes from ideation to prototyping to validation to the large-scale manufacturing to understand what happens when the brand decides to connect with Accumax for any OEM projects. Joining us is Madhvi Chaganti from Accumax Projects team, the team that is responsible from turning concept to the customized solutions which are used across the world.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited to share how we support the OEM partners, how we design, validate and scale products with maximum flexibility, enabling them to evolve into trusted brand offerings.
Let's start from the questions, Madhvi. I'll just have the first question for you on today's podcast. People often misunderstand when Accumax says customized OEM, right? What do we really mean by the word customized OEM?
So for us, OEM really doesn't mean putting on labels on a bottle or changing the color of the product. It means co-branding from end to end. We work with the customers on the application understanding, design engineering, the CAD and the mold flow designs, material selections, tooling development, validation, documentation, packaging requirements, supply on the planning, right, and long-term life cycle support. So we literally build the product, the process and the supply model around the brand's application. So when we talk to customers about OEM, say talking about the media bottles or reagent bottles, the robotic tips that we offer, PCR plates, deep well plates, the individually wrapped tips or transfer pipettes, we don't just supply them. We shape them into science that they are used to do and we fit them in. So that's what we really mean by OEM.
True, that actually portrays the entire customized OEM solutions, what we say. The second question for you, Madhvi, is as we say, Accumax is deeply vertically integrated with designing, you say tooling, molding, assembly, validation, packaging. How does this help the OEM customers?
So basically, the biggest challenge that an OEM faces is the quality validation, the delays that are involved, and the cost escalation over the period of time. So when we say that Accumax is vertically integrated, what we really do is that we ensure that the significant amount of time and effort which is typically used in designing for the actual customer, it is kind of ensured that you are seamlessly providing them design, manufacturing and application stages. You're offering them solutions, you're coordinating with the tooling, and you give the customer the fast development cycle, traceability across each step, which is again very important, predictable costing, which is gives them the budgetary know-how how it moves forward, the tighter confidentialities, and few last minute delays or changes. So this really, what you are really looking at are stable timelines, and it's even across the scale. So in other words, we ensure that we're giving them speed with controlled traceability. So.
Right. No, that's great. So Madhvi, third question on this podcast is, so when a brand says, we'd like your bottle or your robotic tips, or say with some kind of changes or modification, how deep does customization really go?
So basically, like we've been discussing so far, Accumax, when we say customization, we do it at a science level and just not at a very cosmetic level. So we're not changing labels, we're looking at the chemical compatibility of the bottle with the product that is being used, the extractable, leachable risks that are involved, geometries, tolerances, the sealing enclosures, their performance, sterility requirements, compatibility with automation machines, wherever tips are involved, like you said, then the drop testing, because it's important when you're doing media and high value reagent buffers, the transit survivability when you're transporting the material through air, through shipping containers. Sterility makes an important.
Certainly, it does make important.
The gamma stability, autoclave stability for people who are going to do the autoclaving after pouring in the media, clean room handling, very important again, labeling and the branding preferences. So that's something that we work with the team, ensure that you're seamlessly working and offering them the product that they really need. So we redesigned the product completely. So it works seamlessly with our customers' chemistry, instrumentation, and the regulatory requirements.
So next up is like, walk us through, a requirement, how a requirement becomes a finished OEM product.
Okay, so the structured project flow, as we would say, will involve discovery. So you understand the application, you understand the risks involved. You do a feasibility study, which includes raw material selection, the tooling costs, validation expectations of the customer. Then you next go with the timeline commitments. Are we fitting into their requirements? Then maybe the annual consumption to see that you justify the mold costs, ramp up plans, tooling and sampling, part of their validation to ensure that they're fitting into their audit documentation. The proof of concept or the sample feedbacks, leak integrity, packaging and torque test requirements, validations, trials, and then finally we come to the pre-production assembly line testing.
Okay.
So once we're there, and then we move with the regulatory, the QMS documentation that is required for them to submit the audit, and then the production governance that is required. We, at every gate, at every stage of this, we ensure we're de-risking the performance and scalability. So when the product reaches the production, there are no surprises. It really is not that you're going back and reworking on the entire thing. So that's really
there are a lot of checks basically, and
yes.
each one of them are crucial and important.
Correct, to ensure that we are minimizing time.
True. So Madhuri, the next question, like we know like a lot of brands operate in a regulated environments. How does Accumax support compliance confidence, which is to be given to the users?
So Accumax works on global standards. We are ISO 13485 certified, ISO 9001. We work with the USP Class 6 raw materials wherever applicable. We have validated sterility programs. The traceability is documented well. Documentation of the change control to ensure that there is a repeatability. ENL support wherever is required. So when customers receive the COA or the COC, sterility dossiers, or the audit ready documentation, they get it without having to coordinate with multiple vendors over and over again. And importantly, basically what we do is we're comfortable with audits. Right. We have been going through multiple audits, we welcome them, and because they really help us build the trust. So we welcome our customers to the facility, get a hands-on the infrastructure and the production.
That's the best part of it, getting the customers see themselves what exactly is offered.
This works, yeah.
True. And the next step is Accumax, as we know, manufactures in both India and Germany. How does that help OEM partners, particularly with the reach across India and European market?
So I think it creates flexibility and resilience. So during COVID, we did see that there was a lot of redundancy because of the supply chain disruptions. There was also, we would like to work with reduced transit times. Then it's best to work locally with ensuring that the EU regulatory requirements are met with, we are aligned. Then there is an inventory buffering wherever it's needed. So in case a customer has scheduled order for a certain number of pieces, we could have a buffer stock kept ready for them to ensure that you're meeting their real-time needs. Then there is a easier collaboration and visit in case you want to do an FAT locally, lower risk cost, logistic cost risk. So the customer really gets an advantage in terms of the cost efficiency from India, and then combined with proximity and compliance comfort that you get from Europe.
Okay, that's true. Coupling around. So how do you see, OEM customers, usually they care deeply about IP security, and how do we reassure them particularly?
So IP protection for us really begins with strong NDAs. We have a set documented NDA that is signed off to begin the project. You have clear ownership agreements. So we know whom the design really belongs to. They control access to the molds, drawings, and the data. So that's very clear. And with Accumax, there is minimal outsourcing. So you're ensured that the data is really not getting out anywhere. Honestly, I think that the best part for us is our track record. We've been working with multiple global diagnostic life science companies, and we've done well. So that's something that our track record speaks for ourselves. We've built long confidential OEM partnerships that continue over the years because brands that trust us, and what is theirs just stays theirs.
So, next question on this podcast for Madhvi is, for companies using media bottles, robotic tips, PCR plates or deep fill plates in production, consistency is everything. How do we ensure batch to batch variability?
So at Accumax, to ensure that there is maximum reliability, low variability, we're locking in the raw materials. So once selected, the raw material is approved by the buyer and it has been locked. We freeze the critical dimensions. It can only be changed when there is a signed off change of control documents. Maintain strict change control documents. Then they run the SPC monitoring, follow rigorous QC checkpoints, enforce traceability across the lots. So we stay fully open to audits. We allow the customers to visit. We believe that the customers rely on us across millions of units year after year because they are able to see that we are delivering.
True. Let's talk about the Accumax application lab and what role they play in the projects basically.
So I think we should really look at the application lab as an extension to the customer's R&D. We replicate real-time, real-world operating conditions. So we are looking at reagent compatibility and the stability testing. We do the bioburden and the particle count testing, autoclave, gamma sterility dosing and evaluations, stress testing, the robotic handling, validations, seal integrity. We're looking at the aging studies. So primarily we're showing and allowing, it allows us basically to validate real time what we are offering to the customers, whether it is the media bottle, the reagent bottles, robotic tips, PCR plates or the pipettes. So we are ensured that they perform exactly in the real workflow as they're meant to be before we scale up to the production. So the customer avoids any costly change later.
True. So Madhvi, can you share an example how global brands have approached Accumax with the key problem areas, the Accumax approach, and how things have really come together?
Let me share this process, entire thing with a quick example. We're currently working with a global brand and it is facing some issues with the extractables because of the handling of very aggressive reagents. Their packaging was compromised and the performance is not acceptable. So it has posed them both regulatory and reliability risks. So instead of just replacing the bottle, we've rebuilt the entire solution from ground up. We've started with the right raw material selection, supported that with the extractable leachable studies, ran accelerated aging, and then optimize the molding process. So the design would seamlessly fit into their automation lines.
Right.
The outcome has been very encouraging: compliant performance and optimization, and global approvals across their internal teams. Then, because Accumax is EcoVadis certified, it gives partners like them an added advantage in meeting their sustainability goals. As we speak, the customer is now in the process of switching to Accumax across multiple geographies and production lines. So I think that's a win-win for both of us.
That's true. So one of my last questions is, sustainability. It's a very known topic in terms of corporate responsibilities, right? So how is sustainability a key procurement matrix, and what is Accumax doing on that front?
I think that's the need of the hour, and we are very intentional about sustainability. So we use renewable energy resources, solar, as we are blessed in Ahmedabad with the solar integration. 100% we have an electric injection molding machines, reduce plastic wastage wherever feasible, so ensure that there is lower scrap, and then there is an alignment with EcoVadis. That's giving us the certification which is required. Then we have something called a Green Max, which is optimizing the resin use and then eventually the carbon footprint. Smart packaging to reduce the waste. So for the OEM customers, this means that you have measurable environment benefits without compromising performance or the regulatory acceptance. So I think that's a good work being done in sustainability.
Yeah, so knowing about EcoVadis, I think we are in one of the top 10 companies, having the ratings what we have for EcoVadis. So the last question on this podcast, Madhvi, what should OEM partners expect from Accumax?
One can expect Accumax to function as an extension of their own design, development and manufacturing teams, delivering products tailored for their exact requirements, produced to the highest standards and delivered on their timelines. So as we move forward, we are continuing to invest in capabilities that strengthen this promise, including new product lines like the cell culture and bioprocess lines, single-use assemblies, need of the hour, FabFlex adjustable pipettes, the more robotic consumables, dedicated OEM clean rooms as an extension to people who want to manufacture locally. Then you have the expanded gamma capacities. We have modular tooling platforms and automated packaging and inspection, which is ensuring that there is traceability. Everything we build is focused on faster collaboration and stronger reliability.
So thank you for the deep dive, Madhvi. This clearly shows that OEM with Accumax is not about relabeling. It's about partnership, engineering, discipline, and trust.
Thank you. We truly enjoy co-creating with the customers, and I think when we grow together, everyone wins.
True. If you're a brand exploring OEM or private label solutions, whether it's media bottle, reagent bottle, tips, or any kind of solutions, Accumax would be happy to collaborate. Reach out, share your applications, and let's build something that truly fits your process. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to connecting with you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.